Hey, how's it going? I'm back. Um, Hope y'all's day has been very good so far, and that y'all been blessed and very, very comforted and very happy today. Very easy and on edge. Um, just very calm is what I mean by on edge. Just very stable. But I wanted to make this particular video as a tribute to those who suffer and struggle with depression, those who are still going through it, and and those who have gone through it, but who feel it every now and then still, who haven't fully gotten over it. You know, I'm thankful for the ones, and I'm extremely glad for the ones. My heart is filled with joy for the ones who used to go through it but don't go through it anymore. Ones like me, you know, and I'm so glad that they are more joyful, and that they don't suffer such deep and dark sadness anymore, and that they've been able to move on with their life and get to more joyful, happier places, and happier and more peaceful state of minds, in their life. And because of family, or because of God, or because of friends, or all three. you know um, for me personally, it was God, as in God the Father and God the Son, Jesus Christ, first and foremost, and ultimately. And it was my family and friends and acquaintances who got me through that. Um, the ones He blessed me with in my life to help get me through it. But it was mostly God and my family, you know. But for the ones who are still struggling with depression and who are very sad, get depressed for no reason, and they find deep, heavy, and dark sadness just falling on them and consuming them. Chronic depression, or maybe they're depressed because of negative thoughts that come into their minds all the time and cause them to be depressed, and they tend to dwell on those negative thoughts, and because they can't help it, or because they feel like they get too curious as to, well, what if those thoughts actually happened, or maybe, you know well, how far and how dark can these thoughts get, like how far can they go in darkness? If these thoughts are that bad, then how far can they really go, and how dark they are and how sad they are? Maybe they have that kind of curiosity, but the more they dwell on that and the digger they deep into those thoughts, you know the sadder they get. I know, because I used to be the exact same way as a child when I was only 10. I suffered depression. Me personally, I suffered depression from 10 to 19 years young. I stopped being depressed by the grace of God and because of the love of family when I was 19. And I hadn't really gotten deeply depressed ever since then. I do admit that I had moments of sadness because of negative thoughts where I was really down. I guess you could consider that depression, but what I mean personally is a very deep, very heavy, weighted, and dark depression, very morbid depression, like where I didn't want to talk to anybody kind of depression, you know, um, and where I would sit in my room where tears fall down my eyes and I couldn't talk kind of depression. I hadn't felt that ever since I was 19 and ever since I was 10. And that was an extremely long time ago, thankfully. I'm 27 now, and by the grace of God, I don't get depressed anymore at all. Um, my thoughts don't even take me away like they used to and captivate me and cause me to be depressed, even every once in a while, like they used to. They have no more power over me like they used to, anywhere near as much power at that. And I'm thankful to God. I'm thankful to the Almighty that they don't have that hold on me, and that Satan's attacks, you know, with those thoughts he put in my head, don't have a hold on me like they used to. And because God blessed me with the love of family and friends and acquaintances who showed me they were nothing like what Satan wanted to portray them, as toward me in my mind. You know what I'm saying? In other words, they were nothing like the family, friends, and acquaintances that they were pictured as in my mind. You know, how the devil wanted me to picture them, you know? But, I don't go through depression anymore. I still have negative thoughts. I still do. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and act like I still don't go through anything. I still do. But even those negative thoughts don't capture me and don't have me standing in one spot, just lost in a dark, negative world in my mind, for hours or for over an hour. Excuse me, for over an hour, um, or even for 45 to 50 minutes like it used to. You know what I'm saying? Um, it used to be really bad, y'all. Like, I used to have negative thoughts that were so intensely bad, so negative, so dark, so demonic, and so depressing, so violent, and so full of hate. The ones that I had negative thoughts about used to hate me so bad in my mind that I used to get depressed, and it used to captivate me, leave me standing, staring out the window or staring at the wall in one spot, you know, when I was in my room or in the kitchen or in the living room, wherever, or outside, even just staring into space, because the negativity captivated me so just that deeply. And I was traumatized and disturbed by what was going on toward me and the negative thoughts, the violence and aggressive stuff that was going on toward me. But by the grace of God and thanks to God answering my prayers and being faithful to me, He took that hold off me. He took the power that they had on me um, away from me, and they don't have any power anymore. They don't have a strong hold on me anymore, and Satan doesn't have a strong grasp on me either anymore. And I'm thankful to God for that every day. I'm thankful to Jesus Christ and God the Father for that every day, because if it wasn't for Him, I I I, I would have still been trapped. I would have still been um, I would have still been uh, caged in, by those thoughts. Um, but nonetheless, I haven't felt depression in years. I haven't been depressed, like deeply depressed, um, and captivated by depression and stuck in depression, for 8 years, thank God. But I did suffer it for 9 years, from 10 to 19, because of extremely negative and dark thoughts. And you know, I know what it's like. I just want to tell y'all who are depressed out there. I know what it's like to be depressed. I know what it's like for that extremely deeply sad and dark, morbid, or darkly morbid feeling to come over you. That grave, just miserable, sad feeling, come over you. I know what that's like, so I can definitely empathize, not just sympathize, not just understand with sympathy, but I can empathize with you. I share your pain. It was hard. It was a struggle, a very deep struggle. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fun. It wasn't good. I cried a lot silently to myself in my room. Um, as a child, um, I would go upstairs and isolate myself and not talk to anybody. And when I did talk to my mom and or dad or my mom and aunt, um, even at times my older brother, I would talk about how difficult it was for me to be happy and be full of joy when thoughts wanted me to be, negative and down and, not enjoy life, that kind of thing. I mean, it was a really dark time for me. It's a really dark time. But, this video is mostly for those who still go through depression, even if it's only every now and then, but who's mostly for those who still go through depression a lot, a whole lot, I mean, and who, you know, feel like giving up, just feel like ending their life, or they feel like there's no peace, no true peace and everything. And I just want to let y'all know right now that you know, it's hard. It's really, really hard, but there is hope and there is true peace. There really, really is such a thing as happiness. And you can find it in Christ Jesus. You can find it in God the Father. You can find it in and through the Holy Spirit. You know, you can find it in family. You can find it in friends. You can find it in acquaintances. You can even find it in strangers you don't even know, but strangers that are friendly and that are willing to talk to you. And I mean, you may not be the talkative type of person, or you may be or you may be the talkative type, but it's hard for you to talk because you're too depressed to talk. Whatever the case may be, there are still strangers out there who would be willing to talk to you and lead you to get help, or to who they themselves would be friendly enough to give you advice if you just open up to them. I know they're strangers, and I know that, it'll be a little, strange, opening up to them because, well, they're strangers. You don't know them. You've never met them before or seen them before in your life until you came into contact with them, until you've seen their face, but there really are people who care, and there really are people who love you and who are willing to love you and willing to get to know you, and people who do want to help you if you just open up to them and admit that you need help and tell them how much help you need and tell them what you're going through. And some people will just be like, I know some people will just be like, oh wow, I'm so sorry you're going through that. Gosh, I didn't know you were going through that. That must be so hard. That must be so tough. And then they'll be like, well, to be honest, I hope you get better. I hope you get the help you need. I'm sorry you're going through that, but I hope things get better for you. And then they'll leave you alone. You know, um, they won't even so much as say, "I'll pray for you." What's your name? I'll pray for you. You know, um, I mean, you rarely find strangers like that, but it's okay. At least they hoped you got better. And I mean, it's understandable because they're strangers and they don't know you and you don't really know them, you know? But I just want to say that, no matter how depressed you are, there are family and friends out there for you and, you know, with you who love you and who really do want you to get help and who really do care about what's going on with you and who really do care about your well-being and your soul and your spirit and your mind and your heart. They really care about you as a whole, and you know they really do want you to be emotionally and spiritually healthy, you know, and mentally healthy as well. Um, they don't want you to be sunk into the darkness of depression. I don't want you to be sunk into the darkness of depression. I know I don't even know all of you out there, but for those of you who may stumble across this video and watch this video, I just want to let you know I love you so much. I love you with the love of Jesus Christ, the love of God in my heart. And, God has given me such a strong, powerful, passionate, compassionate, and deep love for you and kind love for you. And I just want to spread it across to you like an ocean, like an endless ocean. I really do. Like endless space, I want to spread it across to you, and I want to share that love to you. And that's one of the reasons I'm making this video. That's one of the main reasons I'm making this video for you, is because I want to share that love to you. And I just want you to know, no matter how depressed you are loved. You know, a lot of you may be depressed because of negative thoughts in your head, causing that depression, because the enemy, the devil, has implanted negative thoughts in your head, whether you know it or not. Speaking from my personal belief, y'all, I'm not saying all of y'all are believers like me, but I'm speaking from my personal strong belief. I strongly and personally believe that it's the devil attacking you with spiritual warfare. And one of the things he attacks humans with the most is depression, especially heavy, deep depression. Um, and he also attacks with negative thoughts, which cause that depression. And you're you're suffering from those thoughts because those thoughts really hurt you, and you know, as far as emotionally, and those thoughts really um, bother you and they disturb you. They cause emotional trauma. You know, due to what happens in them. I can definitely fully, without a doubt, 100% relate to that too, because I suffered that as a child and throughout my teenage years and unto a young man, when I first hit my 20s, I suffered that, the negative thoughts and things that happened in them would also cause me to suffer things like paranoia and stuff like that. But, I know that a lot of y'all are also depressed because of loss of loved ones. You lost very close people to you, or even if they weren't that close, people that you still got along with really well and that you miss a lot. And you get depressed a lot whenever you think about them. You just fall into this deep, miserable, grave depression, and it tears you apart inside. It breaks your heart. It rips your heart in two, and you need healing and restoration, and for someone to mend your heart back together again. You know, some of you are depressed because of financial issues, because you don't know how you're going to provide for your family, or if you live on your own and you don't have a family yet, you don't know how to provide for yourself and what you're going to do and how you're going to make it, and you're not making enough money, or if you are making enough money, your bills are very high and you don't know how you're going to manage to pay all your bills, or maybe you do pay all your bills, and that money goes to all your rent, all your bills, all your mortgage, your car payments and stuff like that, and you are able to pay them off. But you may be lonely. It may not be financial problems. You may be lonely. You don't have a soulmate to share that money with. You don't have a soulmate. I mean, for real, you don't have a soulmate to share your time with, to share your soul with, to share your life with, to share your body with, to share your thoughts with. Whether you're a young man or a young woman, you don't have a soulmate to share, who you are with. And you're lonely inside. You live on your own and you're depressed because you're lonely, you know? Yeah, you feel like you have no one to talk to. Some of you are depressed because, some of you may be teenagers or young children watching this, and you're depressed because you don't have any friends, you know? and like any friends, and you feel lonely. You feel like no one cares, or no one wants to talk to you, or no one wants to be there for you. No one wants to share any joy and any time with you. And it causes you to be sad. You have family, and you love your family, and your family's there for you, but you also want friends too, because friends are just as important. you know True friends, at least, are just as important. you know and you just feel lonely. you know Maybe you have family, and they love you, and they do care about you, but they're very busy, and they don't have time for you much, because they work high paying jobs, or they have careers, and stuff like that. And you're depressed. You want a friend to reach out to, but you have no friends. It can get very lonely. I know how you feel. Trust me, with all my heart, I do. And I just want to give you my love by telling you that it's okay that you feel that way. I understand why you feel that way, and I'm here for you. But it's not okay to dwell in that depression. It's not okay to keep on staying in that depression, to be caged and trapped and held down in that depression. It's not okay for you to feel that, and for you to go through that. It's not okay at all. And I want to let you know that God is there for you, and He's always there to listen, and He's always there to make ways for you. He's always there to love you and to hold you in His arms. Even if you don't feel Him physically, you can feel Him spiritually, which also in turn you can feel Him emotionally, because when He touches you spiritually, it affects how He touches you emotionally. You can feel Him. He wants to smother you in His arms and love you and love on you, and by spiritually hugging you and holding you, and um, whispering to you that everything's going to be all right. Whispering that to your heart, whispering that to your spirit. He wants to take your depression away. Some of you are depressed because you've been abused, and no one's ever apologized for it. Those who abused you never apologized for it. And it hurts, and it ripped you apart inside. And you get depressed every time you think of how you were abused and taken advantage of and manipulated and put down all the time and hurt all the time. And you every time you ask them why they have to treat you that way, why they got to be like that towards you, you know, they treated you like you didn't matter, or they talked about how they had a right to treat you like that, how they were justified, even though there was nothing justifiable about the way they treated you, and there was nothing about the way they treated you that allowed them to be justified. There was nothing, you know, to justify about the way they treated you. I mean, it was because you did nothing wrong to them. But they abused you, and it's hard for you to trust, and you get depressed because of that. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why people get depressed, y'all. Some people don't get their first car and they get depressed because they really know they need transportation, and it's hard for them to get around, and they feel like they're not keeping up with the world because they don't have a car or transportation of their own to go do stuff like hang out with friends, or to go to the store and shop for food, or go to the bank and save their money, or go to important places like visiting their families or the doctors to get well, stuff like that. I mean, whatever reason people get depressed, whatever reason you all out there are depressed, I just want to say, I love you. I so deeply love you. And I just want you to know that just like you, I have a story with depression too. Like I just told you, I was depressed from 10 to 19. That's 9 years of depression. From a child, a young child. I was only 10. I wasn't even a preteen or a teenager yet. 10, 11, 12, and then 13, is when you become a teenager. You know what I'm saying? So for 3 years before I became a teenager, I was depressed. And then by I didn't, get delivered from depression, fully delivered from it until I was 19, you know, until I was 19. So um, it was hard, you know, but I love you so much that, I'd be willing to write all kinds of books for y'all, you know. I'm actually thinking of writing a book on depression and how it affects people and why people, a few of the reasons why people get depressed and giving advice to those who are depressed and whatnot. In the same way that I'm in the process of writing a book, I'm also in the process of writing a book to those who want to commit suicide and who don't feel loved. You know what I'm saying? And why they want to commit suicide. You know, a few of the different reasons, as far as to my knowledge, why they would want to commit suicide. And my special advice to them, my even if not so special, my loving advice to them. It doesn't have to be special to be loving. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to. But I mean, even though loving in itself is special, because you're sharing love, that's always special. But I want to let y'all know that you know don't ever let depression hold you down. Don't ever let depression stop you from being optimistic and um, stop you from wanting to get your joy back. Pray that God take you away from depression and or deliver you from that depression and fill your heart with His joy, His peace. There's no joy and peace like the peace of God, the peace of Christ, and the joy of the Holy Spirit. Pray that God, give you that joy. Pray that God give you that peace because He knows how much you need it. He knows how much you want it. He knows how long you desire for it. And I mean, it's it's just unspeakably satisfying and unspeakably overwhelming, but unspeakably filling. At the same time, it fills your heart and it lets your heart overflow with such optimism and you know such security and such joy. And it's a great feeling. It's a really great feeling to have the joy of Jesus. Without the joy of Jesus, you're not really that joyful because He is joy and joy comes from Him. I'm telling you, whether you're a believer or an unbeliever out there struggling with depression, and we all do, whether we're saved or lost, it doesn't matter. We all do. Let's not act like we don't because we all do. Let's not act like everything's okay because it's not. And let's not act like we don't know because we do know. We all do. And even if it's only at one point in our lives, and I mean, man, it gets us, but the joy of Jesus can eliminate that even fully. Yes, fully. I know it because God delivered me, you know. Um, but you know, um, I just wanted to say that you know, depression is never a good thing. It stops you from wanting to talk, stops you from wanting to surround yourself with people and to be with people because you're so soaked in sadness. But there are brighter days, y'all, and there there is a purpose for living, and there are purposeful and hopeful days ahead. And I just want to let y'all know, never stop hoping for that, and never stop striving for that. Never stop, you know, um, never stop, living to, in search for that, and never stop living to find that. because you can find it. It's all in Jesus. It's all in Christ. It's all in God the Father. And I just want to let y'all know that, you know, you don't have to stay in depression. You really don't. You know, for those of y'all who've been abused and treated like trash all your life or most of your life, and you're depressed because of the scars, you know, I mean, one of the ways to let that depression go is to forgive, you know, forgive with the Spirit of the Lord in you. Forgive, even though it's hard, you know, because a grudge is only going to make you bitter and more depressed, and not letting go will cause that depression to grow. And you don't want that. You want joy to grow. You want to forgive so that you can be free, and not just so the other person can be free from your grudge and free from your bitterness that you may hold against them, but so that you can be free from the feeling of and the weight of depression and the feeling of bitterness inside, and so that you won't be destroyed and annihilated. You won't destroy your spirit. Your spirit deserves to be happy. It deserves to be joyful. It deserves to be free and vibrant and flying away, I mean, like a bird in the sky, you know. I mean, you you deserve that. You really do. And I'm here to let you know how much you deserve it, because you being a human soul, your happiness is worth everything. It's worth everything, you know. So that's all I have. That's all I have, to be honest. I'm sorry. I wish I had more to say, but I just want to say, for those of y'all who are depressed, I love you with all my heart and from the depths of my spirit, with every fiber of my being in me, with every essence that is in me. I love you. And I just want you to be joyful. I just want you to be full of joy. I just want you to be happy. And you can and deserve to be happy. You know, you really deserve to be, because you are special, and you are meant to be full of joy and not sadness, you know. But that's my video for y'all. I love you all. All right, take care.